The mid-June heat is literally radiating off the asphalt as two absolute titans of the internet line up for an 80-meter sprint. On one side, you have the loud, chaotic energy of IShowSpeed, and on the other, the silent but explosive acceleration of Daniel LaBelle. 500,000 people are watching live, holding their breath to see who's going to cross that finish line first in this massive crossover event. Welcome to Learning English with Rassa.
Let's rewind Daniel's story to the very beginning, way before the millions of subscribers and those massive streaming deals. Daniel LaBelle is just a young guy from Wisconsin who graduated from John Brown University in 2010 with a digital media degree. He took that formal education, mixed it with his creative passion, and started a really modest local business in his hometown of Kenosha called Daniel LaBelle Photography. For years, he was just a regular guy standing behind a camera, capturing weddings and quiet, everyday moments.
But there were early signs of a truly unique talent hiding just beneath the surface. As a professional photographer, Daniel obviously had this incredibly keen eye for visual storytelling and framing. He knew exactly how a scene should look. What most of his photography clients didn't know, though, was that Daniel was actually a former college track and field athlete. He had this incredible physical control, speed, and agility. And these two worlds, the visual framing and the intense athleticism, well, they were about to collide in a big way.
Then came the year 2020. The global pandemic brought the entire world to a complete standstill, and weddings and large events were just instantly canceled. Daniel's local photography business ended abruptly. With a schedule that was suddenly entirely clear and an income that had just dropped to zero, Daniel faced a severe challenge. He was literally trapped at home, unable to work in his chosen profession, and he desperately needed some sort of creative outlet.
Faced with this totally unexpected crisis, Daniel made a pivotal decision. He started making short videos just out of sheer necessity and, honestly, boredom. He took direct inspiration from the classic physical comedians he grew up watching. I'm talking about legends like Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean, the incredibly dynamic Jim Carrey, and the silent, slapstick genius of Lou Costello. He realized he could mimic the everyday world around him and exaggerate those normal human movements to create something entirely new, relying completely on body language without speaking a single word.
So he turned his house and his quiet suburban neighborhood into his own personal training ground. He relentlessly developed this high-speed, silent comedic format. He practiced wacky walks, sprinted through his living room, and performed these hilarious, literal interpretations of everyday scenarios. And he committed to every single stunt with extreme acceleration, purposely wiping out and falling over just to get the perfect shot. Realizing his immense potential, he decided to pursue content creation full-time, leaving the photography business behind for good. All of this intense, non-stop practice led to a moment that totally shattered records. In 2021, Daniel released a short video titled, "If Cleaning Was a Time Sport." It featured him aggressively and rapidly cleaning a house with extreme athletic intensity, and wow, the video completely exploded. In fact, it became the most watched YouTube short in the platform's history, pulling in a staggering 1.6 billion views. As the video traveled across the globe, easily transcending language barriers, he began to amass millions of dedicated followers.
But behind the scenes, a major business crisis was quietly brewing. Despite his billions of views, Daniel was actually struggling to sell his own merchandise. Viewers loved his videos, sure, but they weren't really connecting with him as a person or a brand. To sustain his career long-term, he had to evolve. So he worked with a brand strategist to create a really clear identity, developing the fast fun word concept. This key move allowed him to elevate his status in the creator economy and diversify his revenue way beyond just simple funny videos.
And that brings us right back to that blistering June day in 2025. By building up this strong brand, Daniel was able to step out of his living room and onto the track with IShowSpeed. This epic 80-meter sprint wasn't just a race. It was a massive crossover event that managed to garner nearly 500,000 concurrent viewers. Even though Speed crossed the finish line first, the event proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Daniel had become a major, undeniable player on the internet stage.
Today, Daniel's empire is absolute proof of his brilliant strategy. He didn't just survive the pandemic, he completely thrived. He managed to surpass 35 million YouTube subscribers. He landed major brand partnerships with huge companies like Spectrum and OnePlus. He even secured his very own streaming miniseries on Hulu called Full Body Funny, and he was named a Time 100 creator. He successfully transitioned from a quiet man with a camera into a massive, mainstream global brand.
Now let's take some time to really unpack the vocabulary that built Daniel's story. Our first word is amass, pronounced amass. It means to gather or accumulate a large quantity of something over a period of time. It comes from the Latin word massa, meaning a lump or a heap. It's kind of similar to the word collect, but with one key difference. You might collect rare coins, picking them carefully one by one, but you amass wealth or debt, or in Daniel's case, followers. It implies a huge volume or a truly massive scale.
Let's look at how this works in a sentence. He managed to amass millions of subscribers in a short time. Here, amass shows the massive scale of his digital growth. The comedian continues to amass views on his short videos. This tells us the views are piling up into a huge number over time. They will amass a large audience through physical comedy. Notice how amass perfectly describes building a massive digital following, rather than just picking up a few viewers here and there.
Our next word is abruptly, pronounced abruptly. It means suddenly and unexpectedly. It comes from the Latin ab rompere, which literally means to break off. While it is a synonym for quickly, abruptly carries a much sharper, more intense feeling. If you walk quickly, you're just moving fast. But if you stop abruptly, it means you stopped so suddenly that it might actually surprise or shock someone. It implies a jarring, totally unexpected break in the normal flow of things.
Let's see this one in action. His photography business stopped abruptly during the pandemic. This wasn't a slow decline, it was a sudden, jarring halt. The race ended abruptly when he crossed the finish line. The video abruptly switches to a faster speed. In all of these cases, abruptly highlights the sharp, sudden nature of the change. It's a fantastic word to use when you really want to emphasize that something happened without any warning at all. Moving on, we have elevate, pronounced E-L-E-V-A-T. It means to raise or lift something up to a higher position or status. The Latin root elevare means to lift up. Now, while lift and elevate are pretty similar, we usually use lift for physical objects, like lifting a heavy box. We use elevate when we're talking about abstract things, like raising the quality, the standard, or the professional status of something or someone.
Read these with me. He wanted to elevate his comedy from simple jokes to a recognized brand. He is actively raising the professional standard of his work. The collaboration will elevate his status in the creator economy. It pushes him up to a higher tier of fame. His physical skills elevate the humor in every scene. His skills take the humor to a much higher level of quality. Elevate is just the perfect word to describe transitioning to a higher, more respected tier. This next word is absolutely essential for Daniel's style of comedy: exaggerate. Pronounced exaggerate. It means to represent something as being larger, greater, better, or worse than it really is. It comes from the Latin exaggerare, meaning to heap up. You can contrast this with overstate. While you usually overstate things verbally with your words, exaggerate can be highly physical and visual. You can exaggerate a facial expression or a physical movement, which is exactly what physical comedians do.
Let's look at the context here. He likes to exaggerate how people walk in different professions. He takes a normal walk and makes it huge and theatrical. The movements are exaggerated to make the audience laugh without words. You should not exaggerate the results of the race. Here, exaggerate perfectly captures his over-the-top, highly amplified physical comedy style. It takes reality and stretches it purely for entertainment.
Next up is mimic, pronounced mimic. It means to imitate someone's actions or words, typically to entertain or ridicule. It traces back to the Greek word mimos, meaning an actor or a mime. It differs slightly from copy. If you copy a document, you're making an exact, serious reproduction. But if you mimic someone, there's usually a performance involved. You are playfully or accurately acting out their specific behaviors, just like a mime would do.
See how it works in these sentences. He can perfectly mimic the running style of a child. He is imitating the action directly for entertainment. The videos mimic everyday situations with extreme speed. She tried to mimic his hilarious facial expressions. In every single example, mimic is used to describe accurate, performative, physical parodies. It is a very active, entertaining form of imitation.
Now we have pursue, pronounced pursue, to follow someone or something in order to catch or achieve them, from the Latin prosegui, meaning to follow after. How is this different from chase? Well, chase is very literal and usually fast, like a dog chases a ball. But pursue is often deliberate, long-term, and strategic. You pursue a career, a degree, or a long-term goal. It shows true dedication over a period of time.
Let's read these together. He decided to pursue content creation full-time. He didn't just chase it for a day, he dedicated his life to achieving it. They will pursue new brand deals after the series launches. She wants to pursue a career in digital media. Here, pursue represents the deliberate act of chasing a goal or a career path over a sustained period of time.
Our next word is garner, pronounced gar-ner. It means to gather or collect something, especially information, approval, or attention. It actually originates from the Latin granarium, which was a storehouse for grain. We talked about amass earlier. While you usually amass physical things or large quantities like wealth or followers, you use garner for abstract concepts that you actively earn. You garner respect, you garner support, or you garner attention through your actions.
Let's look at the examples for this one. The challenge managed to garner massive support from his fans. He earned and collected that abstract support. He hopes to garner more attention through the streaming platform. The unique videos garner millions of likes every day. Notice the nuance here. Using garner in the context of audience engagement implies that the attention and support were actively earned through the high quality of his work.
Next up is sustain, pronounced sustain, to strengthen or support physically or mentally, or to cause to continue for an extended period, from the Latin sustenere, meaning to hold up. This is a bit different from maintain. You maintain your car by getting the oil changed so it works normally, but you sustain an effort under pressure. Sustaining implies keeping something going even when it's really difficult, or providing the necessary support to ensure it doesn't fail. Let's see how this works in practice. It is hard to sustain such a high level of physical energy. It requires holding up that intense energy under pressure. He needed a recognizable brand to sustain his business. The brand acts as the crucial support structure to keep the business alive over time. They can sustain audience interest without using any dialogue. Sustain perfectly describes maintaining his brand and his intense physical energy over the long haul.
Our ninth word is diversify, pronounced diversify, to enlarge or vary the range of products or field of operation. It comes from the Latin diversus, meaning turn different ways. This is a crucial strategy word. Contrast it with expand. If a bakery expands, they might just bake more of the exact same bread. But if they diversify, they start selling coffee, sandwiches, and cakes. It means adding variety to reduce your overall risk.
Read these examples carefully. He had to diversify his revenue because merchandise wasn't selling. He needed to turn different ways to find new streams of income. The creator will diversify his content by moving to a streaming service. It is smart to diversify the types of comedy you perform. Diversify shows Daniel expanding his business beyond just making short videos for YouTube, spreading his unique talents into new, varied areas.
Our final word today is surpass, pronounced surpass. It means to exceed or go beyond what is expected or what others have done. It comes from the French word surpasser, meaning to pass beyond. Think of the difference between beat and surpass. You beat an opponent in a game, but you surpass a goal, an expectation, or a previous record. It implies achieving a level of excellence that goes way beyond a specific benchmark.
Let's read these final examples together. His channel managed to surpass 30 million subscribers. He went far beyond that incredible benchmark. The new video will easily surpass the viewership of the older one. She hopes to surpass her previous running time. In the context of Daniel's career, surpass functions beautifully to describe how he continually breaks digital records and exceeds absolutely all industry expectations. Okay, let's take a moment to review these powerful words together. Remember how Daniel's photography business ended abruptly when the pandemic hit? It was a sudden halt, but he used that time to elevate his comedy, raising the standard of his work to a truly professional level. And by doing so, he was able to amass an incredibly large audience, gathering millions of followers in a very short amount of time. Think about his specific performance style. He learned to carefully mimic the everyday walks and actions of the people around him, and then he would exaggerate those movements, making them massive and theatrical, just to get a laugh. Because this silent, physical humor works so incredibly well, he made the deliberate decision to fully pursue content creation as his dedicated career path.
Through his nonstop effort, he managed to garner massive support and attention from fans all over the world, really earning their respect. But he knew that to keep his career alive, he needed to build a strong brand identity that could sustain his business and provide a long-term foundation for his comedy.
Finally, by deciding to diversify his revenue streams and partner with major brands and streaming services like Hulu, he created a robust empire. Ultimately, Daniel managed to surpass all initial expectations, going far beyond what anyone thought a silent, physical comedy channel could ever achieve. This brings us to an absolutely perfect idiom for Daniel's story. Actions speak louder than words. The meaning is quite literal. What someone actually does means far more than what they simply say they will do. The logic behind this idiom, which dates back hundreds of years, is that human beings can easily make promises, but their true character and intentions are revealed through their physical actions. In Daniel's case, it is beautifully literal. He found massive global success without ever speaking, relying entirely on his physical actions to communicate joy and humor.
Let's look at how we can use this naturally in conversation. He never speaks in his videos, proving that actions speak louder than words. Here, his physical performance tells the entire story. If you want to show you care, remember that actions speak louder than words. This is just great advice for everyday life. Now it's your turn. I challenge you to write your own sentence using actions speak louder than words and practice saying it out loud today.
As we wrap up Daniel's incredible journey from a local photographer to a global, silent superstar, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. Could nonverbal, universal entertainment be the ultimate key to truly global digital reach? Think about it. I'd love to hear your perspective, so come share your thoughts with our community on Telegram @FluentMind. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.